There we go. Might be helpful if you hear me. How's everybody doing tonight on this Friday evening? Hope all's going well. Today we're going to do something a little bit more fun than, just dunking on the corporate bullshit world. We're going to be doing a little bit of Hellspawn Resources Bingo. What is that? It essentially is just us looking at r/recruitinghell on that subreddit and just going through each post, seeing what looks like, it has some of these trigger words. Let me show you what I've got here. So, for example, we've got this bingo chart. Anytime we see these really common trigger words like rockstar, synergy, wearing many hats, ghosted, or no one wants to work, all of these things right here are very common buzzwords in the recruiter world, but also just in the corporate HR world in general. So we're going to go through and, see if we can get a bingo on this card here. But there's a little extra that I wanted to add to this. Specifically, I have a bag of BeanBoozled jelly beans. Just so you know what kind of flavors I'm working with, I have burnt rubber, licorice, wet dog, top banana, stinky socks, tutti frutti, toothpaste, berry blue, barf, peach, stink bug, toasted marshmallow, booger, juicy pear, old bandage, pomegranate, liver and onions, cappuccino, dead fish, and strawberry banana smoothie. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that I already had like a big lunch. I just hope it doesn't cause a little bit of extra backup. But essentially, every time I get a bingo, or not a bingo, anytime we fill a space because we find a term from the subreddit, I will be popping a jelly bean, and we'll see if I come to regret doing this part of the stream or not. So, if I smell the bag, God, fuck, it smells horrible. It definitely smells like barf. I know that just because it's something that I've come accustomed to here in hell. There's a lot of puking here. It burns away because it's so hot down here, but there's a lot of puking in the streets here. So it's a smell that I've come to know, but not one that I come to love. But without further ado, why don't we just kind of roll right into it? So, starting off, I'm kind of regretting doing this jelly bean portion now that the bag is open and I've smelled it. Okay. LinkedIn is slowly turning to Instagram with a resume. Yes, very much so. LinkedIn is and always has been in this kind of weird place where it's kind of a mix of Facebook and also job networking. I don't know if I would say it's the best thing for people searching for jobs, but it's become kind of a necessity, unfortunately. HR bingo, that's just me. We don't need to worry about that. Congratulations on accepting an offer with our company. We've emailed you a copy of the signed offer letter for your records, and your recruiter will be in touch soon with next step. Oh, so this guy is just celebrating that they managed to land a job. That's awesome. I see that they did it through Paylocity. I've used Paylocity before. It's either really good or really bad, depending on how many integrations and everything you have with it. But it can be all the suck or all the good, in my opinion. That's me when I get an email at all. And if anybody catches any of these trigger words that I miss, pop it up in the chat right above my little avatar here, and I'll pop a bean. Me reading any email with the subject "an update on your application." Yes, getting that in the subject line is never good. It never means that, like, yeah, like, this is the next person we're going to hire. It's just like a really milquetoast, neutral way of saying, you know, go fuck off, essentially. Getting into the next one here: temp agency and hiring manager. Okay, so this is a long story here. Oh, it was deleted. So we're gonna go ahead and skip it because it's long and I don't really feel like reading it. How long before they're asking for skull measurements? Ooh, I think I saw this yesterday. Should facial analysis help determine whom companies hire? A photo can tell a recruiter much about an applicant's personality. Now, I believe I clicked into this and it's all mostly like speculative. It's not actually something that is being rolled out, thankfully. But I can see this being like super abused, you know, especially from an equal employment opportunity perspective. We would be talking about potential racial profiling and, you know, unfair application questions depending on what an applicant's personality is going to be like based off of how their facial structure is. So not okay, at least from an HR perspective. If I had to advise a company on if they were like, hey, let's try this new technology that like does facial analysis on like our applicants, I would be like, hard no. You know, one thing that we're seeing a lot of, unfortunately, due to a lot of the like AI hype that I kind of knew would be coming when it all of a sudden really became a big thing was what was it? You know, having AI doing interviews. I knew that there was going to be a lot of issues with that in terms of, you know, whether someone could be profiled properly or like not profiled at all. We wouldn't want them to be profiled. And you know, whatever this facial analysis software is probably encoded by someone with like horrible like racist biases or you know, implicit biases that they're not aware of. Could be either or. After posting a job myself, I'm permanently black-pilled on the job market. Oh, interesting. Let's see what this one's about. So I posted a job not too long ago. Not a big thing, just something for a small side project. And it kind of opened my eyes. People always talk about ATS and keywords and cover letters and whatever. But you're the one actually looking at the list. You just sort by first to apply, chronological, because it's easy, literally the default option. I tried Bamboo HR, no parsing capability whatsoever. Yes, that is true. And greenhousing, but the parsing is bad. You know, it's not worth using. Agree to disagree. It can be kind of simple. Was this just a myth? Why is it so big in our mind that ATS is like some god algorithm? Within the first 40 to 50 apps, I already had enough people to interview, like 15 maybe, good enough. After that, I stopped scrolling. This is how people get ghosted. Yes, absolutely. It's unfortunately the whole, oh, ghosted. Oh, shit. I knew it. I knew we were going to get into this really early. Okay, well, we got our first bingo card slot filled out. Let me get this filled in. Where is the filler tool? All right, so there's our first, damn it, there is our first slot. So let's see what we get here. God, I hope it's not a horrible one right off the bat. I should have brought a trash can in here just in case. All right, so first one. This is either a stink bug or toasted marshmallow. I'm not gonna smell it so I don't get any cheating, elements out of it. Oh fuck! But here we go. Ah, instantly I could. Uh, 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 nope, 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 nope. Nope, 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 nope. Stink bug. Thank God I brought some water. Fuck me. Oh, fucking disgusting. Why did I do this to myself? Oh well. We keep going. All right. Here were we? This is how people get ghosted. We're not going to get double bean for that. I also noticed LinkedIn and Indeed were showing my post hours later. Apparently, every job there needs to get approved. It showed up like 6, 10, 12 hours after I tried posting it. So if you apply there, you're already late. Yes, but there is a little hack that I figured out. And if I'm burping, I am not sorry, because this is just part of the punishment. Ugh. Fuck, it's like stuck in, the flavor is stuck in my teeth. Ugh. Ah. Ah. So if you apply at LinkedIn at least, I know there is a way to hack the URL to allow you to see job postings that are really fresh, literally posted 1 second ago if you want to. I don't have the info off the top of my head as far as what that is, but it's a thing that you can do. So yes and no. It does need to be approved, but then once it gets approved, you can alter your URL to catch anything that's extra early. So it made me realize maybe it's not about being perfect. Maybe it's just about being early first. Yes, unfortunately, this job market is all about being early. I don't know. I felt like someone should say it out loud. Hope it helps. Why do recruiters pretend like this is not the case? I literally have a career person at my school who never told me this until I asked her, and she confirmed. Yep. Unfortunately, this is kind of all pretty well known stuff in the career world. I wish it wasn't true, but it unfortunately is. Thank you, Fuchsia Vampire. I guess that is a sympathy you. We'll see. I just hope I don't have to do too many more of these. Or if I do, I get the ones that are okay. Jeez. Anyway. Searching for a job in 2025 starter pack. Let's see. This kind of competition for an opening where they're just looking for a single person. Yep. Posted 1 minute ago. That's what I was talking about. You can set your URL to, be 1 minute. Over 100 people clicked apply. But of course, if everybody else is doing it, then, it's kind of luck of the draw. Going through 4 interview stages over the course of 2 months just to get rejected. Really fucking demoralizing, I've got to tell you that much. Diversity questions in job applications that are somehow never actually inclusive. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't think I've seen male, female, Canadian. Whoever did that one definitely put that in the wrong category. Anyway, generic rejection emails. Yep, hi, candidate name, blah blah blah, for position title and company name. Now that's extra shitty when all of a sudden they're not, putting stuff in there, whatever the code or the HRS that they're using isn't functioning properly. So yeah, just fucking sucks. The whole recruitment process somehow less efficient, transparent than when people used to apply for jobs in person. Yes, that is unfortunately true. This logical reasoning tests, I've seen a lot more of these come up in like the interview processes on my side. I'm not sure if I could say that they are really like good or effective. I would argue that they are not effective at like determining, whether or not you're going to be a good employee for them in the future. It seems like a subjective thing that's not really worth anybody's time. So moving forward, let's take a look here. A recruiter tried to recruit me to replace me. Interesting. I was laid off from my job of 14 years in April. It was a bullshit culling move to keep the stock price up. Yep, unfortunately, this is a very common tactic right now. Is when the year end shows up and all of a sudden it shows like, oh, the balance sheet isn't showing 125% profit. That means we need to cut some people to make it look like there was 125% profit. It's horrible, and it's dehumanizing to say the least. They need someone to do my job, so I was put on a transition plan until the end of the year. They spent 4 months trying to outsource my role to a lower cost country. When that didn't work, they opened a role in the US, but one level below where I am. That was 3 months ago. Today, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. He thought I would be the perfect role they were filling. I could tell from the description that it was my replacement. I asked if his client was my company, and he confirmed. Somehow he read my LinkedIn profile closely enough to get my qualifications without noticing that I was already employed by his client. Yeah, that's I don't know how else to say other than it's just like shitty finding out not directly from like your manager that this is happening. To be honest, it's one of those things where I believe in radical transparency. Sometimes it can be detrimental to a company, but in the end, if you're doing something to the detriment of the employee, you are ultimately harming the company as well. I believe in this idea of if you protect the employees and treat them well, they will protect and treat the company well. That is unfortunately an ethic that has kind of disappeared from modern corporate worlds now, unfortunately. But yeah, it just sucks. Moving forward, let's see. I am speechless. After 6 months of careful consideration, we've reached a very difficult decision. Impressed by your experience, blah 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 blah. This was not an easy choice, and it in no way reflects a lack of appreciation for your time, effort, or potential. We're truly grateful for the opportunity to get to know you. Blah blah blah. 6 months. What the fuck? Like, really? You needed to. After about 6 months, like, you may as well just leave it ghosted. And no, I'm not going to take another bean for that. But yeah, after 6 months, like, and you're not going to choose them, just leave it alone. It's really not a good idea to send them, an update at this rate, because chances are pretty high that this subject /subject rest here was probably already moving on, and you just opened up old wounds for them. So horrible on the recruiter to do that. It's just real shitty recruiter behavior. Can this really happen? I was rejected by a company after 7 rounds of interviews. Oh god, that pisses me off. 7 rounds. Like, I've worked for companies that have had lots of interview rounds, and I've actively tried to remove those rounds as much as possible. But a lot of it has, unfortunately, comes down to am I trying to say? Like, uh, it comes down to a feeling of like control that those managers want to have over the application process and like the interview process. And at least in my experience, they don't have the proper knowledge to consider the applicant's best interest throughout the application process. All they're like focused on is their own time and like really don't take into account anything other than their own time. So yeah, so that is something that can happen, unfortunately. I'm a certified HR professional, and so a lot of this stuff just it happens sometimes. Like as an HR person, sometimes your hands are tied, and sometimes you are able to get ahead of like these shitty management decisions and try to make your workplace a little bit better for people. I got a job offer and I start next week. Awesome. Congratulations, Locust Swarm. I am a new grad and have been job hunting for 6 months, and I just got a job offer. Way to go. Got rejected before I got my application confirmation email. What? Okay. So, yeah, thank you for your interest. Thank you for expressing an interest. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar, you probably have heard about this before, but this screams ghost job to me. Not ghosted. It's not one of my bingo chart things. But this screams ghost job, and ghost jobs, there is a ethical way of posting them and an unethical way of posting them. This is definitely an unethical way. A lot of the ways that ghost jobs get posted, if you're not familiar with the concept, is they get posted as true jobs that that they want like to have someone fill in for. But what the applicant doesn't know is that there is no actual intention to hire anybody for this position. The ghost job is literally there to, boost stock value in a company or something like that. Essentially, make the company look better by saying like, look, we're hiring all of these people. We're in a state of growth, boost up that stock price. This is a lie. And this is like probably one of the more unethical things that you can do as a company, at least in my perspective, because I believe if you aren't treating the applicants with respect, then why would you expect to be treated, any differently as an employee? It's bullshit. Like I said, there is an ethical way of doing this. The ethical way is, posting what is called like an evergreen job. I've seen those before. But the key is that you're upfront in the application about it. You say like either in the body or even in the title before anybody sees anything is like, hey, this is really just like an open application. We're not actively hiring for this position, but if you want to throw your application in the ring, please feel free. It's never assuming that like, hey, this is an actual job, like we want to hire you for this. That said, I really hope that we get to a stage someday where there's legislation that prevents ghost jobs from being a thing. Even like evergreen jobs, like I said, there's like it's kind of ethical to have it, but I don't consider it something good to have necessarily. It really just muddies the waters, especially when you're looking for a job and then everything is pointing towards like this actually being a job that you could apply for, but then you click in and you're like, oh, this isn't an actual job. You're still having your time wasted by this, even if it's in a slightly more ethical way. So I hope some laws get passed around that pretty quickly. Companies when a candidate tells them their salary expectations. Companies when recruiters charge them the same salary plus a 25% starting fee. Yeah. It's it is kind of like industry standard if you're working with a recruiting agency that like they will do like a 25% staffing fee. That's essentially like 25% of the salary like tacked on as like a one-time payment. So it's a standard practice, and for some reason people are great with this. But anytime they find someone really good that like has, you know, a little less than like this 25% thing, all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we can't hire you for that. It's a bit what's the word, hypocritical. I think there's this like perceived value add when a recruiter brings someone on, as if like that recruiter knows something deeper about like how this person will or will not function within the team. That can be true, not necessarily true though. It just kind of depends. 26, living at my parents and feeling lost. Yep. This sounds like Gen Z probably, or you know, older Gen Alpha maybe. I'm 26 and living at my parents' house. Really grateful for them, but sometimes I feel so behind. Graduated from a good school, have over 2 years of work experience, and honestly, I don't even know how I got my last job. I left it for mental health reasons. Moved away from the city for a while, and now I'm back home. I don't have a job right now. I'm not in a relationship. Feels like everyone around me is moving forward, getting married, having kids, getting promotions, building their careers. I know comparison isn't helpful, but sometimes I can't help it. I've had interviews and I try, but I can be anxious and awkward. I just keep thinking, oh, what if this is it? What if I never find a job I love and I'm just stuck here forever? I don't really know what I'm asking for. Maybe just some reassurance or to hear from people who've been here. Does anyone else feel like they're behind even though they're trying their best? Yeah. Basic jackfruit 8222. Take it from a demon from hell. Like I've been there. You know, I left jobs because of mental health reasons. You know, near the beginning of my sort of adult life, I lived with my parents for a little while to just be able to afford to live. So really no shame from that. I just want to ensure that you know that there's no shame from you know, anyone here on like you being behind. Like Praline right here saying you're not behind, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I know it sucks to really just keep waiting and everything. But there are resources out there as far as like, you know, interview exercises and everything, something that I'll be offering. You know, if Basic Jackfruit, you see this, reach out to me at Alistair at hellspawnresources.com. All my stuff is there. I can offer interview coaching and everything to help with your sort of nerves and everything, and to give you some, you know, extra pointers and tips if you need it. So don't feel pathetic. You're not the only one that has kind of gone through all of this. So just a little encouragement there for you. Moving on to top 10 candidate my ass. Congrats, you've been selected as one of the top 10 candidates for the marketing and personal assistant role here at blah 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 marketing. Before interviews, I'm asking finalists to complete a short creative project. I think this probably falls under take-home assignment. Let's see. Is there anything else that it could fit under? I kind of think it's a take-home assignment. Personal thoughts before I take another disgusting bean. Take-home assignments like this, really shitty unless they are offered as paid. literally anything that you do as like a take-home assignment in this scenario could be used as free content and work for these companies that hire you. It's been cataloged before of like people doing a big like interview project and then all of a sudden looking up the company and seeing their work that they worked on for like 2 or 3 hours of like making some kind of campaign or a presentation or whatever, and they just straight up steal it from you. So I never recommend doing this unless they say, yeah, it's actually paid time. Like, if they're offering like, $50 to, make something like this, yeah, I don't see the problem with it. But if they're asking it as like a, hey, this is a like first step, and it's not paid, they don't mention anything about payment, don't bother. These kind of recruiters really just want to take advantage of people that don't really know the process, and honestly, they just need to. Yeah, I'm just gonna say they need to go fuck themselves. So yeah, don't bother. All right, so take home assignment. We are marking you off as filled in. All right, not a lot of trigger words so far. I assumed there were going to be a lot more, but oh well. Let's see what we got this time. Oh, I think it's the other one that looks the exact same as stink bug. So this should be toasted marshmallow. I really hope that I'm not just reading the packaging incorrectly, but I think this is going to be toasted marshmallow and not like dead fish. So here we go. I think it's toasted marshmallow. It's really faint, but I'm not retching. What I can say is that like almost all of these beans, they have this like initial like air burst when you like first bite into them that all like tastes like garbage. So it's hard to like bite into it and then kind of like wait for a little bit because it's like all of the garbage flavors have been like mixing in for lack of a better word. So okay, not bad. Thank fuck that it wasn't another disgusting one. Job interviews are autism filters. Yeah, it can be, and that can be something that could be discriminatory action. It's difficult to like prove, but definitely something to be alert about. If you show the slightest symptom of autism or Asperger's in the interview, even if you don't realize it, the employer will automatically reject you no matter how good you would be at the job. Now, they shouldn't. Here's the thing, if you disclose in the interview that you have a form of autism or Asperger's, that becomes something that they have to accommodate for in terms of ADA. So let's say you go into the interview and say, hey, just a heads up, I have a form of autism, and I might do this or this, it's not intentional. Then if they were to reject you, then you might have a case against them to say like, hey, I told them that, I had this and they rejected me. And of course, most companies will find something to say like, oh, they're not a fit or whatever like that. But companies do have to prove like beyond a reasonable doubt that they are not rejecting you because of your disability. So yeah, it can be it can be something that like you get blamed for often. Don't worry, like, I'm not going to be the one that blames you, but one thing I will say is, going into it, try to like put it out front, because honestly, if you put it out up front and they're like, oh great, like yeah, let's accommodate you for that, then you are probably going to be interviewing for some good people. If you disclose that and you get rejected, those are probably shitty employers. Like, I know it's one of those things where like any job is a good job. It's that kind of market, but it will eventually take a toll on your mental health. So it's something I guess you got to kind of weigh in by yourself to see if it's something you want to disclose or not. But it can give you an advantage if you disclose it, right up front in an interview. So just a little advice there if you want to take it or not. Got Spark Hire interview, got rejected before I did said interview. I'm not familiar with Spark Hire. I'm assuming maybe they're like a specific firm or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look that up. But yeah, got rejected before he even did the interview. Like that tells me whoever said like they could probably they wanted to interview you, probably found the stellar candidate and then decided, no, we're hiring this person, fuck everybody else. It's shitty, and I wish there was like a regulation that could be introduced someday about whether or not somebody can do this sort of thing in the future. If you schedule interviews, you have to like follow through on it. I hope that it becomes a thing. Do I think it will become a thing? Probably not, but we can hope and pray, I suppose. Well, I can't pray. So today is my 1-year anniversary of being laid off. 1-year anniversary of my layoff. It's been a challenging and frustrating year, but I've made the most of my time off. Yesterday, I finally received an offer after a lot of interviews. I'm very excited to begin the role. Hang in there. Honestly, that's great, dude. You begin on December 1st. Sounds like just before the new year. It sounds like you went through a really, really difficult time, but there's always hope, even for the people that are out there for like the longest. Let me sort through top posts here, because we're getting some that are pretty good, but like I'm gonna find the cream of the crop. So let's see. Let's sort by top this year, 2025. Oh boy. Yep, I'm glad I did this. HR asked me the strangest illegal question at the end of my interview. I had a final interview with a mid-sized software company yesterday for a senior developer position. The technical assessment and management interviews went incredibly well, and the salary matched what I was looking for. As we were wrapping up, the HR director said, just one last question before we finish up. Then she hit me with, could you tell me if you're planning to have children in the next few years? Yes, that is horribly illegal. I can't believe that there are some people, especially an HR person, the HR director. What the fuck? No wonder people don't trust HR, because people, shitheads like this, the HR director, are, asking if you're planning to have children in the next few years, even before you become an employee. God, that fucking pisses me off. Yeah, I mean, it's all the more reason why I am doing what I'm doing here. HR, your company's HR is not there to help you. You need an HR for the people. I'm your HR person. So fuck this HR director first and foremost. I was completely caught off guard after an awkward pause. I asked her to repeat the question. Thinking I must have misheard. Nope, she actually doubled down. We just want to know about your family planning situation for our team planning purposes. I've been through dozens of interviews in my career, but this was a first. I politely told her that I wasn't comfortable answering that question as it's not legally appropriate for hiring decisions. She seemed genuinely surprised I called her out on it. Yeah, she seems like the kind of person that would be surprised, to be honest. Like, I get that there are some HR people that are ignorant of some laws, but this is like one of the basic things that you get trained on as an HR professional. It's wild that someone has become an HR director with this level of incompetence. Fuck. Okay, yeah. Anyway, the entire positive vibe of the interview immediately evaporated. Thank you, Drew, for her time. Mentioned that I had concerns about a company culture where such questions were considered acceptable. Yes, you absolutely should. On my drive home, I was still in disbelief. Has anyone encountered something like this in tech interviews recently? Oh, interesting. With the tech industry, there seems to have been a lot of like rapid growth. So I wonder if this HR person started off as like an HR admin assistant or something like that that wasn't certified, and then just kind of found their way up in the HR director position without doing any sort of like actual like education. So it's possible that they were like, hey, this person is good with people. Well, turns out you have to be more than just good with people to be in HR. There's a lot more to it. Surprise, surprise. I'm not sure if I should report this or just move on to other opportunities. Yeah, I mean, I would report it. But depending on the state that you live in, it can either be really difficult or near impossible. Some states make it really easy to report companies like this, but it isn't, straightforward like, yes, you should do it, no, you shouldn't do it, because it really much depends on your own specific situation. Overall, like all things being perfect, yes, report that son of a bitch or that bitch, whoever it was. Just don't let horrible people continue to run the world, in my opinion. Burn them if you have to. I'll see them over here in hell. I mean, if you want to send them my way, at least. I'm not advocating that you kill people. I'm just saying that, you could tell them to go to hell. Yeah. And I'll be here. I'll be here to sort of re-educate them. Am I insensitive to the world if I think people should pay a small fee to apply for a job as a means to prevent an overwhelming quantity of underqualified or mismatched submissions? To pay to apply? No. I think I misread this at first, that like companies should pay applicants, which yes, companies should actually pay applicants. That will, incentivize them to potentially hire from within if they want to, build company culture that way. But yeah, I would actually be in support of the opposite of this, to basically prevent people from being too burnt out. Like at least they're making some money on like per application. That's actually a genius idea. I know that this guy didn't intend that for me to come to that conclusion. But first off, this guy, this milk toast comb over hair asshole with a V-neck, he can get fucked. He wants people to pay money to work, to like even be considered to work for your company. I don't think that that's ever been something that has been tested on the legal grounds. I'd have to look into that because I don't know of any company that would be that stupid to try that. Well, whatever. Fuck this guy, CEO at blah, whatever, wherever he's at. Fuck him. The youth don't want to work. Oh boy, no one wants to work. That's a bingo slot. Let's see. And we put that there. Okay, I want to drink some water before this next bean. All right. What do we got next here? I'm going to shake this up a little bit. Okay. So this is either booger or juicy pear. I hope it's juicy pear, but I don't have good luck in general. I mean, I ended up here in hell. I would say that is some of the worst luck. So let's see what happens. Ah, nope, booger. Not good. Not good. Tolerable, but not good. God. Ah. Fuck, that's gross. Ah. Okay. It passed. I chewed the shit out of it to get it out of my system. It's still kind of in my teeth though. Ugh. 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 Okay. Sorry about that. The youth just don't want to work. Yeah, no one wants to work. I'm sorry to be the one to say this to you because it appears you're trying, but 108 applications simply isn't a lot in the current job market. You should be doing about 100 per week and expect that it can take upwards of 1,500 job applications before you land a job. Yeah, this guy's an asshole. He honestly, this is just someone saying that like, hey, the current situation is fine. Like this is fine dog in the like burning cafe, whereas the rest of us wants to stop the fire and make the application world a better place. King Arthur T over on Twitter is pretty cool with everything being on fire. He should try, hanging out with me down here if he really loves fire. But man got laid off after 38 years of lifetime service via email. Oh, jeez. Adam Bernard. Well, in unexpected news, I was let go from GM at 5:07 a.m. this morning via email, along with, I hear unofficially, about 1,000 people globally. Looks like this was posted about a year ago. I wonder what I should do next. Yeah. Sorry. Ugh. I got booger flavored bean breath. Ah. Oh, fuck. Ugh. Gross. Okay. I think the wave has passed. So got laid off after 38 years. Yeah. This is double pronged because on the one hand, I sympathize with somebody who wants to, show loyalty to a company or an industry. But this is great evidence that loyalty is dead within the job market, within capitalism overall, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just shitty. Like, I don't recommend that you stay loyal with a company, that you always keep looking just in case. You don't even have to necessarily actively keep looking, but have your DMs open, essentially. If a recruiter or a company reaches out to you and they're like, hey, I've got this awesome opportunity, you want to come work with me? If the stars align and it looks like it's a great opportunity, and everything else matches, go for it. Honestly, I've got no, I would have no reason to think that that's a bad idea. So, because no company will show you loyalty, at least in the economic system that we have. So, this is an administrative assistant to CEO position. Must be in good physical condition, able to run 3 to 5 miles at a 12 to 13 minute pace. What's it's an administrative assistant position. Oh, okay. So I think this is someone that wants like an administrative assistant that is like hot and fit is my bet. You know, some old perv that probably weighs like 400 pounds himself that wants some good looking piece of person in this sort of administrative assistant position. Unless they can prove that somehow this is like necessary for the job that, you know, the person will be doing, and like compare it to other job descriptions and job titles out there, then maybe it could be allowed. But otherwise, this is questionable in terms of legality. Like, this could be a form of ADA discrimination, especially if it's, you know, if we're talking about like someone has to be able to run, like they could be in great physical condition and in a wheelchair where they are still able to lift very heavy amounts. Like, this doesn't feel like they're asking for something, that they're asking for the thing that they're asking for. Essentially, they're asking for something else, but worded in a way that is trying to sort of beat around the bush. Either way, shitty person, shitty company, probably just like, probably good to avoid them. If I had to guess, whoever is the CEO here is probably a predator. If I had to take a stab. The worker shortage in a nutshell. Nobody wants to work anymore. Thank God we already filled that one out in the bingo card. I would like to work for your business. Fuck off. Yeah, that is the worker shortage, quote unquote. You know, they only want to hire people that they can pay pennies for. Essentially, they don't want workers. They want slaves, essentially. And that's the whole AI push. Is AI is you know, essentially a digital slave that you can, you know, push stuff onto, and it won't fight back. It won't ask for benefits. It won't ask for time off. It won't say why aren't I getting overtime or something like that. You know, capitalism loves slavery, and you know, we're just seeing the latest rendition of, you know, digital slavery, essentially. So yeah, it is the quote unquote worker shortage in a nutshell. Very accurate. We already have an internal candidate, but I didn't want to let that stop me from wasting your time. Yeah, I've heard that before. There's a lot of people that there's a lot of managers out there that will interview people regardless of like already having someone in the position, just as a way to like shore up their talent pools, to be like, oh yeah, I already met with that person. But again, it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, as a professional recruiter and HR person myself, I don't feel like it's valuing the applicant, and therefore it wouldn't be valuing the employee, and therefore would be hurting the company and its reputation. But a lot of these people, they don't really see that. So I am running a little bit out of time. I know I had the intention to fill out this bingo card, but we ended up talking a lot more about the stuff, so I might resume this at a later stream. But let me do a couple more, a couple more Reddit posts here, and then we'll pick up where we left off in a later stream. Ran out of an interview after 5 minutes. Today, I had an appointment for an interview as an IT employee for a hospital. I had only one phone call with HR, and she told me I was invited on site for a short 30-minute interview. So I went there expecting it to be an easygoing conversation, but when I arrived, I was put in a small room with my back against the wall, facing a panel of 5 people, manager, technical profile, and 2 HR trainees. Why did it... That's questionable. Why you would have 2 HR trainees on the panel. Again, if you're trying to, treat your applicants poorly, that's a great way to do it, is put people who are not important and not really that prominent for the company in those panel interviews. They all sat very close in my personal space, all eyes on me. They started rapid firing the classic stupid questions about gaps and previous experiences. Yeah, bunch of copy paste interview questions. Sucks. I tried to talk more about the position, but the whole thing felt disrespecting due to the fact that there were 2 trainees watching. Yep. Again, this person is just getting disrespected for their time. Nobody told me of an all-out panel interview. Another thing that you really ought to disclose, if you're an HR rep and you're watching my stream right now, always disclose what the interview is going to be like. Again, the more transparent you can be to your applicants and your employees, the better they're going to treat you in return, because they're going to feel like they can trust you to be fully upfront and fully honest with them. But that's where I come in. That's what I'm here for, is to sort of be that person to give you that transparency that your HR won't do. So I answered a few rapid fire questions and then told them I didn't find this a pleasant way of recruiting and walked out. Yep. Everyone was flabbergasted, including myself. Must have been a world record, honestly. Yeah. This person's sounded like a waste of time. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Absolute waste of time. Pretty stupid for that hospital to let HR trainees in there instead of sort of either the direct manager. Well, I mean, said the manager was there, but instead of having the manager and the CTO or something like that, that would have been far better. And then maybe an HR director or something like that. And then you tell that person, hey, it's a 3-person panel interview. That would have made the interview go so much better, rather than saying, oh yeah, you're going to be meeting with a manager and 2 HR trainees. Even if you told them that, you'd probably not be taken very seriously, and hence why they probably weren't taken seriously. So I hope they lost out on this candidate, because it sounds like they did not deserve it at all. All right, last one for tonight. Let's see if we get another bean in me. You have to laugh so you don't cry. Applying for jobs in the middle of a recession. Oh golly, yes. This job market. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if it is actually considered a recession right now, or if it's just the other shoe has to drop first. I'm not an economist. I'm an HR person, but it feels like a recession at the very least, and maybe not just that, like a full-on depression. But yes, oh golly, all of this bullshit and nukes and explosions happening in the background. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to pretend that nothing bad is happening at the moment. So let's do one more, just because I'm feeling it. I've about reached my limit. Oh, this is the weird abstract reasoning thing. This is I don't know, do we have something that looks like that? Synergy, wear many hats, team player, pizza party, unpaid internship, pivot, fast paced. No, I don't think. Could we call it other duties as assigned? Not really. Yeah, let's just leave it on this here. But abstract reasoning. This is that call back to some of the other posts we saw. But sample question, like what? I'm assuming they're trying to say like if this is to this, then this is to, and it would be, well, this is where I think they're probably saying like it wants you to put this C maybe. Uh, Either way, it's a really bullshit question, but yeah, I think they're trying to say like, okay, it's definitely going to be a circle right here because they're trying to fill in what this is. And since you're not getting any clues as to like the striping or like anything else that's different over here, you have to kind of assume the stripes would go the same way, which is why I'm going with C. But it could easily be A, and then they're just like, well, you fucked up on that one. So, really stupid, Carmax. Shame on you, and shame on the HR person that thought this was a great idea. With all that being said, I'm gonna call it a night for now. I'll continue this bingo card idea though. Maybe it'll be on my next week's stream or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. If you want to reach out to me, I am on Blue Sky. I'm here on Twitch. You can message me over on Reddit. I have an r/Hellspawn Resources subreddit there. Like I said, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm also on LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is kind of the stupid place, but it's kind of my hunting grounds to be able to find some of this bullshit stuff myself. So that's why I'm there. It's very much my hunting grounds there. So yeah, you can also email me, Alistair@hellspawnresources.com. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. And Praemonitus, forewarned is forearmed. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.